For years, the abandoned trailer on the outskirts of town had been a mystery. It belonged to a man named Jack, who disappeared without a trace over a decade ago. No one knew what had happened to him, but rumors circulated that he had run off with a large sum of money. It wasn't until his son inherited the property that the truth finally came to light. As he began to clean out the trailer, he discovered a shocking secret that his father had been hiding for years. Adam stood in front of the trailer and looked at its state. The trailer was old, broken, and didn't look like much. As he opened the creaky door and stepped inside, he was greeted by a musty smell and piles of dusty belongings scattered around. He started sifting through the clutter, hoping to find some answers. As Adam dug deeper into the trailer, he stumbled upon something that didn't seem to belong there. Adam had found the first clue of many, and his search continued. But little did he know the search for answers about his father would leave him with even more questions. But why did Jack disappear without a trace? Why did he leave the trailer to Adam? And what will Adam find inside? But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. When Adam received a letter from the government letting him know he had inherited something from his father, he was shocked. It had been a long time since he had thought about his father, who had disappeared without a trace when he was just a boy. But the mystery wasn't solved yet. Apparently, his mother had declared his father deceased to the government, hoping to inherit something valuable from him after he had been missing for more than 15 years. But instead, Adam was the one who inherited the only belonging left of his father, a rundown trailer, hidden somewhere deep inside a radome forest. It wasn't the fact that his father was declared deceased that shocked Adam, but more the fact that he had left him something. As soon as Adam received the coordinates of where the trailer would be, he packed his bags and drove to it. The forest was a 3-hour drive, sparking even more questions. Why move it so far away? Finally, he noticed something in the distance. He wasn't entirely sure it was the trailer, as it was camouflaged against the forest colors. What was my father doing with this old thing? Adam thought as he shook his head. Something about it made him feel uneasy. But after walking his 5th round around the trailer, he knew he had to go inside. Adam pushed open the squeaky door and stepped into the trailer, enveloped by the musty smell of neglect. Dust and cobwebs covered every surface, and years of debris lay scattered around. So he began by throwing everything outside of the trailer. There in the daylight, he could scatter through it and search for clues. He began by organizing the pile into smaller piles: wood on the left, metal on the right, and furniture and other objects in the middle. Finally, as the sun began to set, Adam found something. A tiny rusty key lay hidden, buried underneath rubbish on the ground. Nothing inside this trailer was locked, so Adam figured there had to be another location somewhere. His mind raced with speculations. He never thought to ever find something of value. All he expected to find was a few photos or maybe a notebook. Adam searched the entire trailer again, looking for any signs of a hidden compartment or safe. As he was about to give up, he noticed a loose floorboard near the back of the trailer. With the key in hand, he pried open the floorboard and found a hidden compartment underneath. Inside, there was a small notebook. Adam picked up the notebook with trembling hands and started flipping through its pages. He was shocked to find that it wasn't just a notebook, but his father's journal. His father must have written something of value inside. Why else would he go to such an extent to hide the book? He immediately flipped to the last entry, and his eyes widened as he read the last pages of the journal. They were directly addressed to him, as if his father knew he would eventually find the journal. His father wrote a strange message to him, but the last few sentences were the most chilling of all. "My son, if you read this, I'm gone. It wasn't in my own will, but I had no other choice. Follow the following coordinates, and you will find what belongs to you in only." Adam sighed. What did this mean? What had his father gotten himself into? His father's handwriting looked different on the last page than on all the other pages. It looked like he was in a hurry, with the last letter of the last word stretching out as if he was pulled away mid-writing. Adam quickly typed the coordinates into his phone. He was surprised that the coordinates led him to a storage unit not far from his hometown. It was a 2-hour drive back in the direction of his house. So, he locked up the trailer with a padlock he had brought and drove to the storage unit. As soon as he arrived at the location, Adam realized he had driven past this place many times before without ever giving it a second thought. Yet his father never wrote down the unit's number. So Adam walked over to the manager and asked which unit was listed under his father's name. But strangely enough, there was no unit under his father's name. And Adam was very confused and spelled the name many times, but each time nothing came up. Adam started to lose hope and was on the verge of turning around and driving home, but then he remembered something. He remembered something his father had written to him. "You will find what belongs to you, and you only." Could the unit be under his name instead? Why would his father do something like that? But then it clicked. And after asking the manager to look under his own name, they got a hit. Unit number 33 was listed under Adam's full name. Adam quickly made his way to the unit and immediately noticed how old it looked. The padlock looked small enough to fit the tiny key, but it was very hard to open as it was rusted. Adam slowly lifted the garage door of Unit 33, revealing a small, dimly lit space. He stepped inside, and his eyes widened in surprise. The unit was filled with stacks of old, dusty boxes covered in cobwebs. It looked like someone had hurriedly stashed away their belongings and abandoned them there. He started opening up a few boxes, and a wave of nostalgia washed over him. He saw his favorite toys from when he was just a little boy and photo albums of him and his father going on their usual adventures. His worries washed away, and he started to open more and more boxes. The whole unit was filled with memories and things his father kept of Adam. As Adam looked around more, he suddenly noticed something in the back of the unit. There was a door that led to a small room. The manager was stunned, as standard units don't have a second room in them. Adam's father had probably built a wall and door frame himself, creating a secret room. Inside the hidden room, Adam found shelves filled with books, old maps, and documents. Then there was a large desk with a chair, a small lamp, and a corkboard covered in notes and photographs. It looked like a makeshift office, and Adam's beezering like down as the makeshift office, and Adam couldn't help but wonder what his father had working on. Adam started sifting through the papers, trying to make sense of the jumble of information. Some of the documents were written in code, while others were old newspaper clippings and photographs. But he shuffled his feet and hit his toe against something. When he looked under the desk, Adam found a hidden chest. Inside the chest, Adam found a stack of documents and a faded photograph tied together. He unfolded the papers and carefully started reading through them. They were incriminating evidence of corruption and embezzlement by powerful individuals in the town, including the same officials who had covered up his father's disappearance. Adam's hands shook with anger as he realized the depth of the corruption that had plagued his town for years. He looked at the photograph and saw his father standing with a group of activists, holding a banner that read "Justice for All." His father had been fighting against corruption all along. Determined to find the truth, Adam decided to confront the only person who could have known about this all along. He thanked the manager for his help, grabbed the box of evidence he had gathered, and drove to his mother's house. Inside, you can't be married to someone for all those years and not know what they were up to, right? Adam was greeted with mixed emotions when he arrived at his mother's house. His mother, Jessica, seemed surprised and confused to see him. She was hesitant to talk about Adam's father and seemed to be avoiding eye contact. Adam stood at the door, asking his mother to be let in. She looked at the box in his arms and had a strange look on her face. Suddenly, Adam realized his father had lied to him his whole life. The trips he went on and the days he would miss dinner because he had to work late were all lies his mother had known and never told him. "Tell me the truth, Mom." That's the least you can do, his mother's sighed. All right, Adam," she said. "Please sit down." Adam took a seat on the couch, and his mother went upstairs to grab something. Adam felt betrayed by his parents. His mother returned with a shoebox in her hand. "In here is everything I have left of your father." "He didn't just lie to you, Adam. He lied to me too. He left us both." His mother explained that Adam's father had always been closed off about his work. He would often tell Jessica he had been laid off or had quit. Then, he would roam around looking for new jobs and staying away for a long time. Adam's mother had always wondered what her husband did, so one day she confronted him when they had a big fight about it, and Adam's father eventually caved. He told Jessica he was dealing with dangerous men and was trying to keep her and Adam safe, but that wasn't enough for Jessica. She wanted to know exactly what he was doing, but sadly, he couldn't tell her. Yet a few days after the argument, Adam's father left and never returned. He wrote a letter to Jessica, explaining it was in their best interest not to be in contact with him. Adam's mother cried as she showed Adam the letter. "All these years, I wondered if the corrupt men had gotten to him or not." Adam cried with his mother. They shared this heartbreak, and there was no point in him resenting her for no reason. He took the letter from her and held her hand as they read it together. But there was something else his mother hadn't shared with him yet. She continued, "But then, I got a letter a week or so ago. It was addressed directly to me." Jessica reached into the shoebox and gave the letter to Adam. "It was from your father, Adam. I didn't want you to read it, but since you're not letting this go, you give me no other choice." But see, she handed Adam the letter. He looked at his mother, who smiled slyly at him to let him know it was okay. In the letter, Adam's father wrote to his wife to stop searching. He told her to register him as deceased so everyone would get some peace. He asked her to tell Adam he loved him and that he never wanted this to happen, but he had no choice. A tear rolled down Adam's cheek. "So my father is alive after all." His mother put a comforting hand on her son's shoulder. "Oh, I'm so sorry, Adam," but Adam softly smiled. He now understood why his father had left him, and even though he would probably never hear from him again, he was happy to know he was alive. Adam left his mother's house later that day with a content feeling, but he also felt like there was one more thing he had to do in order to leave this behind. Adam was filled with a mix of emotions: pride for his father's bravery, anger at the injustice done to him, and determination to carry on his legacy. He worked tirelessly with law enforcement agencies, prosecutors, and the media to ensure that the corrupt officials faced the full consequences of their actions. Finally, after a long and grueling legal battle, the corrupt officials were found guilty and sentenced to significant jail terms. The town celebrated the verdict as a victory for justice and a new beginning for their community. Adam knew there was a long road ahead, but he hoped that one day his father could come home.